Nordson Corporation is proud to continue to invest in educational opportunities through our sponsorship of Academic Challenge. Nordson is a global leader in precision technology solutions with a long and proud history of giving back to the communities where we live and work. To date, Nordson and the Nordson Corporation Foundation have donated nearly $173 million to charities, awarded $7.5 million in scholarships, and our employees have logged more than 117,000 volunteer hours. Thank you for watching Academic Challenge. Best of luck to all the participants.
All right, let's go. This week, teams from
Brookside,
Manchester,
Shaker Heights.
Take the challenge on the Nordson Academic Challenge. Yeah, here we go. We welcome you to the Nordson Academic Challenge. I'm your host, Rob Powers. We are so glad you're with us. In these next 30 minutes, our teams will be tested on their knowledge of subjects like math, science, history, a few others as well. One more time, let's hear it for our teams. From Brookside, Manchester, and Shaker Heights. Today's winner will be the team with the highest point total at the end of our 5 rounds. By the end of the season, 60 area high schools will have competed. The 3 teams with the highest scores will be back to play in our 57th season championship game. Try to win the top prize of $6,000 for their school, awarded by our friends at Nordson. All right, let's start things off this Saturday morning where we start every Saturday. It's the lightning round. In this round, all 3 teams compete. We award 20 points for a correct answer. You will lose 20 points for an incorrect or no answer. Each team, we give you 100 points for free. Hands on your buzzers. Everybody ready? Don't be scared. Answer these questions, all of which have to do with sharks. Sharks. This is the one-word title of Peter Benchley's 1974 novel about a great white shark. Shaker Heights.
Jaws.
That is correct. The worst shark attack in history took place in 1945 after this U.S. ship was torpedoed. Answer is the USS Indianapolis. This shark is named for a carpenter's tool. Brookside.
Hammerhead.
Hammerhead is correct. Sharks devour a giant marlin in this Hemingway novel. Brookside.
The Old Man in the Sea.
That is correct. This shark is named for the world's largest island. Manchester.
Greenland.
Greenland shark is correct. Shark skin was used to sheath the swords of these Japanese warriors. Brookside.
Samurai.
That is correct. One kind of shark is named for this small, sour, yellow fruit. Shaker Heights.
The lemon shark.
That is correct. One kind of shark is named for this large, striped jungle cat. Shaker Heights.
The tiger shark.
That is correct. Napoleon went shark fishing near this island, his final home. Manchester.
Elba.
St. Helena is the answer there. St. Helena, sorry. For our final lightning round question, here is Dr. Todd Kitchen, for the president of the Eastern Campus of Cuyahoga Community College.
Sharks don't have to worry about cavities because their teeth are coated with this element, whose symbol is F.
Brookside.
Fluoride.
That is correct, and that is the end of our round. There we go. We are off and running. We'll be back with more of the Nordson Academic Challenge right after this. Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. If you'd like more information about any of the schools that appear this season, scan that QR code you see in the upper right-hand corner of your screen with your cell phone. That code takes you to the news5cleveland.com academic challenge page. We have links for all of this season's school websites right there for you. Time for us to play Hot Picks now. One at a time, I ask each team 8 questions. A correct response here is worth 20 points. There's no penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 8 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. Before we get to the questions, let's meet our players. We start with Brookside. We start with Elliot. Tell us about yourself, please.
I'm Elliot Ryan. I'm a senior at Brookside High School, and along with Academic Challenge, I'm involved in robotics, soccer, and baseball.
Good for you. Welcome this morning. Hi, Carter.
Hi. I'm Carter. I'm a sophomore, and I'm in band, scouts, and Noyo Jazz combo.
Good for you. Welcome this morning. Simon, you are up.
I'm Simon. I'm a senior. I am our band's clarinet section leader, vice president of French Honor Society, and next year I'm going to OSU to study nuclear engineering.
Wow. Good for you. All 3 of you, welcome this morning. For your questions, Camille, the Manchester captain, open board. 1, 2, 3, or 4?
4.
4. It is a big decision. Brookside, ready to roll? These are all for you. Here we go. According to Norse mythology, Spear maidens riding across the night sky created the Northern Lights, a phenomenon also known by what two-word Latin name?
Aurora Borealis.
That is correct. The midnight judges are not justices who held forth at the witching hour, but rather the last-minute appointees of what second American president?
Adams.
That is correct. One of Verdi's early operas concerns the king of the Huns who threatened to invade Italy in the 5th century. What is the name of the king?
Attila.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. The rate of flow of electricity through a wire is measured in which of these units?
Volts.
Amperes. Amperes is the answer there. The ancient Greek city of Thebes was burned to the ground and its citizens enslaved when they rebelled against what Macedonian conqueror called the Great?
Alexander.
That is correct. 2012 marked the 50th anniversary of the publication of what Rachel Carson work that helped launch the modern environmental movement?
The EPA.
Silent Spring is the name there. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your math question. We ask you to evaluate this expression.
36.
That is correct. Alaskans observed the last Monday in March as a holiday honoring what Secretary of State who had purchased Alaska in 1867?
Seawald.
Seward is the answer. William Seward. I'm sorry about that, guys. Nice round. Nice job. All righty. And that gets us to Manchester, our second team today. We start with Camille, the captain. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Camille Taylor. I'm a senior at Manchester High School, and I'd like to thank my family for always supporting me.
There you go. Good for you, Camille. Hannah, you are up.
I'm Hannah. I'm a senior at Manchester High School, and I'm in our school's National Honor Society, Book Club, and Art Club.
Welcome this morning. Oliver.
Hi, I'm Oliver, sophomore at Manchester High. I play guitar. Would like to thank my grandpa for the opportunity to be here.
Good for you. Welcome to all three of you. For your questions, we go to Sarah, the Shaker Heights captain. Sarah, 1, 2, or 3?
1.
You got it. All right, Manchester, these are all for you. All set? Here we go. The year 1775 saw the beginning of the American Revolution, as well as the birth of what eccentric pioneer who planted apple trees as he wandered the Ohio River Valley?
Johnny Appleseed.
That is correct. If you wanted to do your Christmas shopping on Christmas Island, you would go to a small island that belongs to what country that's also the smallest continent?
Australia.
That is correct. Alaska's Athabascan Indians settled mainly along what river, named for the metallic element with atomic number 29 and chemical symbol Cu?
Copper.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Which of these three substances would produce a highly conductive aqueous solution in water?
Acetic acid.
Hydrochloric acid is the answer there. Sorry. George Washington had a foxhound named for what Roman god of the forge, the counterpart of the Greek Hephaestus? Answer is Vulcan. Vulcan. In 1492, the freshman class at Oxford University included what future saint, an English statesman who later wrote Utopia? Answer is Thomas More. Thomas More. Let's go back to the monitor. Here's your math question. We ask you to solve for X. Answer?
3.
3 is correct. Hit by a German torpedo on May 7th, 1915, it took only 18 minutes for what British passenger liner to sink, killing almost 1,200 people?
Lusitania.
The Lusitania is correct. Nice round, Manchester. Okay. Our third team this morning comes to us from Shaker Heights. Let's start with Sarah, the captain. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a senior, and I'm part of my school's bowling team.
Good for you. Welcome this morning. Hi, Mia.
Hi, I'm Mia. I'm a senior, and I'm a part of my school's business and marketing club.
There you go. Welcome this morning. And we wrap things up with Zachary.
Hi, I'm Zachary, and I play flute in the Cleveland Orchestra Youth Orchestra, and I'm a co-captain of our Science Olympiad team.
There you go. All three teams welcome this morning for your questions. Shaker Heights. Elliot, you are up from Brookside. Envelope 2 or 3?
2.
You got it. All right, Shaker Heights. These are all for you. All set? Here we go. Chief executives come and go, but 4 presidents remain forever carved on what South Dakota mountain?
Mount Rushmore.
That is correct. According to superstition, you'll have 7 years bad luck if you break what objects that line the walls of the hall where the Treaty of Versailles was signed?
Mirror.
That is correct. The famed Homestake gold mine was located in a South Dakota town named for what other metal whose chemical symbol is Pb?
Lead.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here is your science question. Which of these terms refers to the middle ear of mammals?
Tympanum.
That is correct. One of the world's oldest continuously inhabited cities is the ancient trading center that is now what war-torn capital of Syria?
Damascus.
That is correct. Fitzwilliam Darcy is the aloof romantic interest of Elizabeth Bennet in what classic novel by Jane Austen?
Pride and Prejudice.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your math question. What is the positive value of this expression? Give your answer as an integer.
12.
11. 11 is the answer. Sorry. The U.S. quest for a southern railway route to the Pacific coast was the main reason for what 1853 land purchase from Mexico?
California.
The Gadsden Purchase. We got a good game going. That's the end of that round. We'll be back with more of the Nordson Academic Challenge right after this. Holy cow, look at this. Today's guest judge from our partners at Cuyahoga Community College. You believe this? It's instructional specialist Michael Landstrom again. Mr. Landstrom, thanks so much for being here. It's great to see you. And you got on camera, don't worry. You were on, we saw. Hey, let's take a look at our scores right now before we move on to our next round. In third place, third place, 200 points, Manchester. We have a tie here for the lead with 280 points between Shaker Heights and Brookside. Hold on. Time for the Picture Perfect round. There are 8 questions in this round, each with some kind of visual picture or graphic that has to do with that question. Correct answer here worth 20 points, but for a wrong answer or no answer, we take away 20 points. This is for all 3 teams. Hands on the buzzer, eyes on the monitor. All set? Here we go. This 18th century engraving pictures palm trees growing atop what waterfalls on the U.S.-Canadian border? Brookside.
Niagara Falls.
That is correct. The title of this Kandinsky painting includes what geometric shape that also identifies the president's White House office? Manchester.
Oval.
That is correct. In early chemistry, this was a sign for what metallic element whose atomic number is 78 and whose symbol is Pt? Manchester.
Plutonium.
Platinum. Platinum's the answer there, sorry. What is the area of this trapezoid? Answer? Brookside.
8.
8 is correct. Often called the peacock butterfly, this insect is part of a genus named for what chief Roman goddess associated with the Greek Hera? Brookside.
Never mind.
No, that's wrong. Juno. Juno is the answer there. These lines come from a poem called The Hardship of Accounting by what popular American poet, the winner of 4 Pulitzer Prizes? Answer? Robert Frost. A blue-winged teal duck like these was released in Canada and recaptured 1 month later in what South American country whose capital is Caracas? Brookside.
Venezuela.
That is correct. The Man of Steel himself graces the cover of this issue of Cleveland Magazine, but in which decade did Superman make his debut? The same Manchester.
1930s.
1930s is correct. Nice round, everybody. All right, stay right there. Our exciting grab bag round to determine today's winner. That's coming up right after we mix it up.
4:30.
Welcome back to the big show. Let's say hello to our advisors. For Brookside, it's Lisa Rutger. From Manchester, Jen Taylor's with us this morning. And from Shaker Heights, Nathaniel Shue. Thank you so much for being here and for getting everybody over here. Thank you so much. All right, time now for us to mix it up. I ask each team 6 questions. A correct response here worth 20 points. No penalty here for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 6 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. Brookside, you're up first. Ready to roll? Here we go. Choose one word from each column here. You can name what World War II effort to build the first atom bomb.
Manhattan Project.
That is correct. Cut up this pie and you can rearrange the letters to name what table of elements devised by Mendeleev.
Periodic.
That is correct. What same word fits into these blanks to name a detailed history of cryptography and a best-selling novel?
code.
That is correct. There are 13 countries in South America, and all but these two border what largest country on the continent?
Brazil.
That is correct. The American Revolution ended at Yorktown, but the 1783 treaty that officially ended the war bears the name of which of these cities?
Paris.
That is correct. That was big. This is for the bonus points. This statement comes from what 19th century German composer whose famous Ninth Symphony contains the choral movement Ode to Joy?
Beethoven.
Beethoven is correct for the bonus points. There you go. Okay, we see you. Now it's time for Manchester. Ready to roll? Here we go. Choose one word from each column here. You will name what World War II event that took place on D-Day.
Normandy invasion.
That is correct. You won't be bored if you can rearrange the letters in this phrase to name what scientific instrument used to measure air pressure.
Barometer.
That is correct. What same word fits in both these blanks to complete titles of a play by Lorraine Hansberry and a novel by Ernest Hemingway?
Sun.
That is correct. You seldom find this designation on maps, but this is the local name for what North Atlantic island republic whose capital is Reykjavik?
Iceland.
That is correct. Which of these World War II generals was later removed from command during the Korean War?
Douglas MacArthur.
MacArthur is correct. This is for the bonus points. These were the words of what blind deaf woman taught to read and speak by Annie Sullivan?
Helen Keller.
Helen Keller is correct for the bonus points. Okay. Shaker Heights. You ready? Here we go. Choose one word from each column here to name what fortifications built by France before World War II to try to protect against a German invasion.
Briand Line.
The Maginot Line. The Maginot Line is the answer there. Sorry. This sounds like a flavor to be avoided, but the letters can be rearranged to form what other name for the Celsius temperature scale? Answer is centigrade. Centigrade. What same bright color will complete these two titles by Arthur Conan Doyle and Nathaniel Hawthorne? Excuse me.
Scarlet.
That is correct. These are two of the principal islands in what South Pacific island group, which is itself named for a wise biblical king? Answer?
Pacific.
Solomon Islands. When he founded the colony of Georgia in 1733, James Oglethorpe was trying to help which of these groups who were subject to imprisonment in England?
Huguenots.
Debtors. Debtors is the answer. This thoughtful statement comes from Asian Prince Siddhartha Gautama, who is what religious leader?
Hinduism.
We're looking for the name. It's Buddha. Buddha is the answer there. That's the end of that round. We are off and running. We got one round to go. That's the end of that one. We're back with our final and deciding grab bag round. It all comes to a head after this.
Let's go places.
Okay, welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. Before we continue, let's check our scores right now. Third place, 300 points, Shaker Heights. Second place, 365, Manchester. Leading the way with 465 is Brookside. But hold on. Time for the final grab bag round here in this free-for-all. I ask as many questions as time allows. A correct answer here is worth 30 points. 30 points. But we take away 30 points for a wrong answer or no answer. This is for all three teams. Hands on the buzzers, eyes on the monitor when we need it. Set. Here we go. In April of 1918, the U.S. government first mandated what practice in which clocks are set ahead 1 hour? Brookside.
Daylight savings.
That is correct. After Germany's defeat in World War I, Kaiser Wilhelm fled to what lowlands? Manchester.
Netherlands.
That is correct. Choice in physics. Work is the product of force and Brookside.
Distance.
That is correct. These flowers are found on the grounds of what Alabama Institute, established by Booker T. Washington in 1881? Answer is Tuskegee. Today, the federal government employs thousands of lawyers, but in George Washington's first administration, what attorney general was the only lawyer on the payroll? Shaker Heights.
Hamilton.
Edmund Randolph is the name. What is the length of the longest chord of a circle having a radius of 11? Shaker Heights.
22.
That is correct. Flowers mark the hours on a large clock that's a landmark in what Swiss city where the League of Nations once met? Manchester.
Geneva.
Geneva is correct. A satellite can use coordinates to locate what ancient temple of Athena still standing on the Acropolis in Athens? Shaker Heights.
The Parthenon?
That is correct. On September 17th, 1987, many members of Congress traveled to what city to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the signing of the U.S. Constitution? Manchester.
Philadelphia.
That is correct. Choice, which of the following devices is capable of converting heat energy into electrical energy? Electric motor, rheostat, or thermocouple? Manchester.
Thermocouple.
That is correct. Although few people have seen the Flying Dutchman ghost ship, many have seen the opera by that name by what German, who also wrote The Ring of the Nibelung? Answer is Wagner. The crown crane can still be found in what African country whose major cities are Dar es Salaam and Dodoma? That's our buzzer. We go right to the scores from there. What a game this morning. Third place, Shaker Heights, 330 points. Second place, 485 points for Manchester. And the winner of today's academic challenge with 525 points, it's Brookside. Hey, be sure to join us next week. We'll be featuring teams from Brunswick, Olmsted Falls, and Villa Angela St. Joseph High School. Thanks for watching this one. Study hard. We'll see you right back here next week.